Willock is a fitness instructor who strongly believes health is a conscious and lifestyle choice necessary for longevity and happiness. So, wow, that's a mouthful. You're going to explain it all. You're going to break it down in a moment. Welcome to Good Morning SKN, Troy.
Good morning. You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, so I'm eager to talk about fitness. Obviously, it's your passion. How did you get into it?
Literally, from a small age, I was born in St. Kitts, but I was raised in Nevis. And I had family at that time who was into bodybuilding and competition. So as a little boy growing up in Nevis, you know, we used to rush home from school because that time it was like backyard gymming. We didn't have like, you know, gyms like what we had now. So I used to rush home from school, try to get there in the backyard to see what they do and just, you know, try to emulate and see myself sometime down the line in the future doing, well, not for competition, but literally just taking in the knowledge of actually what fitness and function of the body is, which is important. Because, you know, back then it was like you had an old piece of iron, you get 2 buckets, you get some cement, you made dumbbells, you made that kind of stuff. So, you know, over the years, that's how I kind of like got into fitness. And then when I came back to St. Kitts in 2011, I then, you know, decided I'm going to take it up more serious, you know, because I needed to change my physique, change my body. And actually, when you actually start gymming, it boosts your confidence. The things that you learn inside the gym help you to actually navigate through a stressful day at work or just life in general. So, you know, having seen what those guys were doing for competition, I decided, well, you know, I'm going to channel that energy and go into fitness. So I started at Life Fitness Center back in 2011. And the funny thing is that the guys that I used to hang with at that time, when I started, they dropped out.
Really?
So it was a point where it was down to me. Do I continue or do I get laid back? Because, you know, they were more advanced into it than I was. So I kept going and I kept going, learning the little things. And I could remember back in about 2014 or 15, I had a word with Mr. Williams, who's known as Simo. And I said to him, like, is there any chance you could put on a program where persons who are interested in the craft, in the art, could be certified? You know, and he said, I would look into it and come back to you. But unfortunately, that was never the case. But, you know, I had a passion and a drive for it. So then in 2017, you know, after I gave up the business that I had here, because I tried to keep the corporate side of life as well with the fitness. Then I went to Boston, Massachusetts for a while. And then I decided I'm just going to go over to the UK. You know, as a citizen, I'll go over to the UK. And I started in the UK as a stockbroking agent in finance in one of the top banks there, which is Lloyd's Bank. And then after the contract came to an end and they wanted to renew it, I said, I think I want to channel into something else in a different avenue. So that was the opening gate for me then to sign up for the course with an institution in Birmingham to do the fitness course.
Wow.
So I had a wealth of experience in terms of the gym, the whereabouts, movements, and certain equipments, but I needed to be fully advanced in the theory of it. So I enrolled, and that's literally how I got into fitness, did the course. I did 2 courses, which is level 2 and level 3. The next course up from that, which consists of a lot of level 2 and 3, would be level 4. And then that I will be able to have a classroom and tutor persons.
Are you going to do that?
In how your body works. I haven't decided on it yet because I really like the physical activity in the gym. But the world is getting so advanced now. You know, when COVID came, a lot of people had to start working out from home. You didn't have access to the gym. You know, it was a time for retrospect for a lot of persons to look at what they do, what they eat, how they intake, how they maneuver the body at morning. Some people say I'm not a breakfast person.
Yeah.
I don't like breakfast, which is not a good thing because you really should have breakfast at least 30 to 45 minutes after you awake. But most people tend not to do that. Females, it's not really that good because then you face like acid reflux, you know, that kind of stuff. Then you may end up down the line having fibroids and different things. So there's the way the body functions is a lot of things and components that we don't necessarily, you know per se, but we just do things. And, you know, it's funny because most people don't take fitness seriously until they probably go to a doctor and they're diagnosed with a result.
Or unless it's January 1st.
That is true. So it is important that you get into some sort of, you know, exercise, and, you know, down the line, you will actually see the benefits of it.
Okay.
I gotta say, I would have felt really terrible if I didn't start my fitness regimen last year.
That's fine. That's fine.
Troy, you had mentioned that the services you offer, because you said you're a motivated, energetic fitness instructor, adept in assessing individual fitness needs while providing instruction in a fun atmosphere. Working out is never fun. How do you create a fun atmosphere?
No, I disagree.
Well, I'm glad that you asked that. Like I would have mentioned, you know, I think one of the biggest problems in our society today is like, you know, as I would have mentioned, no one considers their health until they're diagnosed with something.
That's true.
So, you know, as a fitness instructor, the onus is on you. When a client comes to you, you do an assessment. That is the first step, because you want to know how committed they are to the program. You want to know what was their eating pattern. You know, what do they do apart from work? So then you can be able to channel those assessment, because there's literally about 5 components to doing an assessment before you actually begin to engage in physical activity. Now, it's good if you have experience around the gym, which most people on island probably have. But like I say, having the theory knowledge now on how it works, the important part to start a fitness journey is the instructor must be able to assess the client. And from there, then that will give you all the information you need to put a fitness plan, an effective fitness plan in place. Now, the world has evolved now where, you know, locally here, we have persons like come to the gym and train you, you know, but in the outer part of the world where it's more faster now, it has changed where we develop like a 14-day program, 21-day or 30-day program. You may have 1 or 2 sessions in-house with that personal trainer or fitness instructor. You then, the onus is on you to continue that program for the next 13 days or the next 19, 20 days or the next 29 days. At the end of the program, then you'll be assessed in terms of your physical activity, your strength, conditioning, cardiovascular, endurance, you know, all these factors, instead of me being with you every day in the gym. So you can then take on more clients and actually work that program, save time, save money. But some people like, you know, the physical, you being there in the presence. How I train persons, because I want to make sure that you're learning. And it is important, that's where you have to engage the clients. You must be able to explain the exercise. First step is how you set the equipment. What muscle groups are you targeting today? The importance. Make sure it's not about range of motion, which you see a lot of people do. A lot of people go in the gym and like they boast how much weight they can lift and stuff like that. None of that means anything. If you understand the logistics of how fitness works, it's really about being in control of the movement, getting a stretch, and then actually getting a contraction so that the muscle then can be shocked and evolve into growth, because the body is set up of 2 types of muscles, which is you have a fast twitch muscle and a slow twitch muscle. So if you go in and you lift heavy, you're only advancing the fast twitch muscle. So you find a lot of guys is bulky, but they don't have no cuts, no definition, because all you're doing is just lifting heavy weights. So the slow twitch muscles are ignored. That's where you use lighter weights, more repetition if you want to have a balance. And again, like I said, if you're doing competition, there's where you deal with that, because there's a part where you have to intake a certain amount of calories, and then you begin to burn down if you have a competition coming up. So very, very important things to know. So yeah.
One of the things that I remember, because I was around, and I don't know if I ever saw you in the gym, it's quite possible we crossed paths once or twice back, maybe over 12 years ago. But one of the things that I remembered when I was looking at the training for the bodybuilding competition that was held by the JCs, I think it was in 2005, is that one of the guys would say, and I'm wondering the reason for this, he'd go running before the competition basically in sweats, like sweaters and so on, as if that would accelerate some sort of, it would accelerate his metabolic rate. Is that how it's normally done? Or is there science to that?
Well, what he did basically was, the running is a part of weight loss. So as I would have mentioned, if he's packed on calories, carbs, and now the competition, let's say, is a month and a half out, you then now need to start to train for endurance. So you have to basically start to not necessarily starve the body, but get the body into that activity where you have endurance, where you can burn the fat, but you're not losing the mass. So that is one part of it. Walking is one of the best part. Running, of course, you have swimming, you can do yoga, you can do jogging. So there's different things that can help you in that category. So he started off correctly if he's going into a competition, because I think when you enter in a competition, you have to have a certain, depends on the weight class you go in, and you have to have a certain weight, and then the conditioning must match.
So Troy, I want to know what makes you stand out amongst other fitness trainers.
Well, it is simple. The key thing is get the right credentials. Like I said, you can have the experience around the gym, but we're now in a diverse world. Even here in St. You have an influx of the Ross students, the UMHS students as well. So you have those students coming from background of Canada, United States, United Kingdom, which, they are more used to having certified personal trainers.
Yes.
It's good that you have the experience around the gym, but, I would encourage persons who on the island, kind of doubting themselves, it's important to get certified, because that will make you stand out more. Okay. Like if you go to like the Park Hyatt or the Marriott or anything, and you said, they all have gyms, and you want to, apply for a position there as a gym attendant, or once you have certification, then you're literally ahead of the pack already.
Yes. You
can have the experience. So I would say that's one of the main things that make me stand out. Okay. And the second thing I would say is find your niche. Okay. Do things that you love, and that will then channel over the positive energy to get your clients into workouts that they love doing. You got to make it fun, because I dialogue a lot with my clients whenever they come to the gym at the end of the day, because I know I'm in an office environment, I've been in management, I know how stressful it can be. So one of the things you have to check on is like, are you okay? How was your day? Did you eat? Were you able to eat lunch? Did you have breakfast? Did you had something before you come to the gym? Because those are important questions to ask, because even though you may have a program placed already on what to do for the day, by asking those questions, it can literally change the dynamics of how that program is set out for either one individual or two individuals. Because if you don't, and then you continue with your plan, then fatigue set in. You don't want to have anyone which is fainting on you in the gym. So exactly. Important things to ask. Yeah.
Why do you have to take me down memory lane now? There was this one moment. No, you're not going to hear it. All right. So honestly, one of the things I've been dying to ask you, and I might as well just do it now. When you began to train, we have about a minute or so left. When you began to train in the backyard, were there moments when you experienced any failure? And what did you do with that?
Yeah, of course. Because you know, as a young boy, you're among the elites. Those guys are in competition. You're nowhere near going to get there anytime soon, but you see yourself down the road, you know, wanting to be like them. I can remember the struggles when I went to pick up the first 10-pound dumbbell. I mean, I literally tumbled over.
That's the story I want to hear.
You know, because again, seeing those guys do it, it looks so easy. But then when, you know, as a little boy, you go and you do it and you realize, I mean, this is really heavy for you. So, you know, you want to actually take it slow.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people, beginners who come into the gym, you'll see guys around packing on a lot of weights and you feel like, well, you're left out. You want to rush into doing that. Take it slow.
Great advice.
Because
yes,
you can avoid injuries, muscle strain, you know, torn ligaments. The important thing is when you start working out, there's, like I said, there's many components. There's a warm-up, which you do on the treadmill or the bikes, at least 15-20 minutes. That gets the blood flowing, the heart rate up. And then you go into, if you're doing into weightlifting, you always do a light rep first to make sure that the muscles, everything, because the body is just like a car.
Yeah.
CV joints on a car, your elbows, your knees, all those work together.
So one more thing before you go, Troy. For those persons who may be interested in contacting you for training, can you look in that camera and give them your contact information, please?
Well, the thing is, unfortunately, I don't really based in St. Kitts, but when I'm here and you need to get in contact with me for training, you can reach me at 869-660-1523. We'll be able to get back in touch with you. For my fans in the UK, the gym that I work at is the Ultraflex gym, which I've been fortunate and blessed to meet the CEO and co-founder of it, which is Charlie Modern. And for those in that area, in the North Leeds area, I mean, we have a new gym coming there as well. As you can see, I'm sporting some of the gears. That is coming sometime in March. Signed up early because it's normally full for those who are listening in the UK Leeds area. But once I'm in St. Kitts, I do my training at Life Fitness Center. You can reach me at, like I say, 869-660-1523. And one of the important things is to remember, success follows consistency more than it is to intensity.